After the United States, Brazil has the world's highest number of confirmed coronavirus cases and one of the highest death counts.
Lamento, quer que faça o quê? Eu sou Messias, mas não faço milagre.
Devemos sim voltar à normalidade.
But Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro has repeatedly downplayed the risks of the virus. In recent weeks, he has waded into crowds without a mask or gloves and encouraged anti-lockdown protesters to take to the streets.
Quer voltar a trabalhar e se manter.
Manifestação pura da democracia.
His attitude has been widely criticized, and he has clashed with ministers and governors.
Reopening the economy, it will be very serious because we haven't been able to make the transmission level really decline as we should.
Bolsonaro's popularity has taken a hit. So why is the Latin American leader doubling down?
He's looking into his political future. Many people who voted for him are informal workers or businessmen who really depend on the economy and want the economy to open.
Jair Bolsonaro has insisted that the economic consequences of the pandemic will be even worse than the virus. In the poorest parts of Latin America's largest country, many people need to make money every day to feed their families. In these huge slums, narrow streets and limited living space make social distancing particularly challenging.
It is a dilemma here in Brazil because, of course, this is a very uneven society. And you have people who have money and can stay at home or can work from home. And you have people who really depend on working, getting out of the house every day. Sometimes you have one family in a room and you have 10 people sleeping together. How can they isolate? It's difficult.
Bolsonaro, a firebrand ex-army captain, was elected by voters rich and poor on the promise that he would liberalize the economy and boost growth. But the pandemic has thrown a wrench in his plans.
We started the year with a very optimistic view on Brazil's economy. We were thinking that the economy was going to expand, grow around 2%, and now the economy is going to contract.
The IMF projects a 5.3% decline in Brazil's GDP this year because of COVID-19.
A lot of people in Brazil are losing jobs or are seeing pay cuts. A big part of our population is made of informal workers who are not being able to work or who are making less money.
Brazil has never implemented a strict lockdown at a federal level, and measures taken by individual states have broadly been eased, even as epidemiologists have warned against the risk of the death toll growing exponentially.
The key message here is that when you have a fragile health system, you need to really take it seriously on your measures on flattening the curve. And what we see is that Brazil, in comparison to its neighbors, did not take as restrictive measures.
And the debate has fueled a political crisis. Bolsonaro has clashed with the governors of Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo.
O que esses caras fizeram com o vírus? Esse bosta desse governador de São Paulo, esse estúpido do Rio de Janeiro, entre outros, exatamente isso. Aproveitaram o vírus.
Bolsonaro still saying we need to reopen the economy, but there is a lot of resistance. Many governors have fought him.
A health minister was fired and another one left, both after tangling with the president over how to handle the pandemic. Separately, the justice minister resigned and has accused the president of trying to interfere in criminal investigations, which Bolsonaro has contested.
It's really hard to see that in a moment where we need to discuss the health crisis, the economic crisis, we're discussing a political crisis. Basically, what we're seeing is that the government is bringing more instability.
Bolsonaro has been skeptical of scientists' advice. He sides with the many Brazilians who are demanding to return to work, even if polls indicate that most people are unhappy with the government's response to the crisis. The president's message to voters is that he's doing everything to keep the economy afloat.
I think for him, it could be a matter of survival, political survival, to have the economy open again. We really don't know, but the next weeks definitely are going to be crucial in terms of what comes next and how Brazil is going to deal with the economy and the growing number of cases and deaths.